What's up, guys? Alright, so I'm gonna be real safe here. I'm just gonna keep my eyes on the road, obviously, but this is really important for me to talk about. First, happy World Peace Day. That's exciting. I don't even know if you realize what World Peace Day is. I didn't know until I looked it up yesterday. But World Peace Day came around, this little history lesson, came around in 1981, and it was created by, kind of as a hopes to unite the nations and hopes to bring unity. And obviously, if there's a recognition that we need peace in our life, there is a recognition that there's actually a war going on. Kind of like the concept of you can't have darkness without light. You can't admit because darkness is the absence of light. So if we want peace in our life, if we're going to celebrate or advocate or be a beacon of peace, that means that by default you have to recognize that there is actually a war going on, that there is conflict, that there is tranquility, that there's turmoil, maybe agony, maybe restlessness. Something may be going on in your life that is not full of peace. So the reason why I wanted to share a lot about this today is because I'm going through something that's not creating peace in my heart. And sometimes that's hard, a lot, actually every single time that's hard. It never gets easier. But I was in bondage over this fear all summer long, and it held me in captivity. And my husband was like, Laura, you got to get yourself together. Like, you are living in fear. This has not even happened yet. And I was like, I know. And I was a basket case. Well, wouldn't you know, all of that anxiety did me no good. But last week, that fear that I was living in, it came to fruition. I don't know why. I would love to tell you the opposite of, I had all of that anxiety for nothing, and I was fearing something that never came. Sometimes that happens and occurs, but for me, quite the opposite. No, what I was fearing did come to life, and I thought, why? That all summer long, I was fearful of this moment. I felt it coming. I would cry. I was nervous. I was trying to control it myself. I was doing everything I could to prevent it. And when it happened, I thought, why am I not falling apart right now? How in the world am I able to stand up straight, have an adult conversation, and deal with it? Maybe it's because, as a mama, you get in fight or flight, and I just handle it. Or maybe it's because I put on some shoes of peace, y'all. Let me tell you about that. So shoes are protective of your feet. This is what I learned in my Bible. Shoes are protective of your feet. They are going to guard you, guide you, help you stand firm when you're going to be stepping on some rocky ground. In the Old Testament, some soldiers wore shoes and boots not only to protect their feet, but to help them stand firm when winds or slippery ground was going to cause them to fall, to stumble, or to get sidetracked. So shoes are really important. And in Ephesians, it actually says that we should put on shoes of peace. Now, why are shoes peaceful? It's because shoes of peace, when you have that understanding that God's promises are real, He's taken care of me in the past, He's helped me walk through trials in the past because I'm living to tell about it. If you are watching this live, recording, whatever, you lived to tell, you were fine, you survived that trial. Maybe you're still going through your trial. I'm going through a trial. But in order to have peace in our heart, which I desire, I thrive in a calm environment, I thrive in having peace. My whole mission in life is to love fast and to live slow, and just to have that mindset of God is in control. Let me love others. Let me live slow. And when there's storms, God says in John 16:33, you will endure storms. You will endure trials. But I have overcome the world. And I'm like, okay, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do, God. How do I have peace in my life? Because I am anxious. So when I got this news last week, I thought, why am I at peace? Why am I calm? And it's because I finally allowed myself to be vulnerable. I finally opened up about my anxieties to a group of women that I know and trust. And I finally allowed God to take over. Right? So that was a huge, God is always in control. God wants me to be thankful for leading me through the past trials that I've had before, or just every single day life. So I approached Him, yes, with an anxious heart, but with gratitude. And then I made my request known to God. Philippians 4:6-7 is one of my favorite passages. And it's like, if you want to make your request known to God, if you want to ask God to help you, to guide you, to protect you, to comfort you, be thankful, because thankfulness activates peace. And I want peace for me, and I want peace for you. What is it today that you need peace about? What are you going through? What do you think you're about to go through that you need to not be anxious about? And I'm going to switch over back to actually why they created World Peace Day. There's actually a bell in New York called the Peace Bell, and they ring it every World Peace Day, every International Day of Peace. They ring that bell. It was given to the headquarters of United Nations by Japan back in 2001 maybe, and maybe I'm getting this dates wrong. I digress. But it was actually created from coins given from children all over the world. This bell was casted, was molded, was melted down from coins, from money given from children all over the world. And Japan said, I wanted to give this as a gift to you to remind you the cost of war. Woo, some heavy stuff, right? So if you're going through a trial, think about this. If you're admitting the fact that you want peace, then by default you admit that there is a war. And if there's a war, there has to be two parties involved at least. And if there are two parties involved, then one is the winner and one is the loser. I already know who the winner is, and it's always going to be God. So the other person is the enemy. The other person is the person who tells me lies about myself, lies about my self-worth, lies about where I'm going, lies about how I'm handling myself or my kids or my family or my money. Lies. He wants me to feel defeated, and he's very, very sneaky, because that's what you do in war. You're very, very sneaky. But if I'm acknowledging all of that, I have to choose which side I'm on. Am I going to put my faith in God, or am I going to put my faith in myself, which is essentially the enemy? Because anything opposite of God is the enemy. And if that is the case, then I need to figure out the bell that I'm going to ring today. And I need to ring that bell, ladies. I'm going to ring that bell to understand the cost of war is hurting my family, is hurting my children, is hurting those that I love. So if I choose to stay in bondage, that means I'm choosing to suffer the consequences, and it's going to affect not only me, but the people I love. So as they ring that bell today in New York to recognize and remember the cost of war all over the world, I want to focus on the cost of war inside of my heart, the cost of war constantly between myself, my flesh, and my spirit. And I want my spirit to win. I want God to be the victor, and I want him to get all of the praise, because when I am weak, he is strong. We finally acknowledge, hey, I got nothing, I can't get through this, I'm not strong enough, I'm not self-sufficient, I thought I was, and I'm not as big, as bad as I thought I was. Once we understand the weakness, then we can brag on God when he gets us through it. There's so much peace that he wants to give us, and you gotta ask God for that peace. So put on those shoes of peace, ladies. Ring that bell, and let's find some freedom today. Sound like a plan? You guys rock.